Since the existence of mankind, the human beings have the need to express themselves, either in a visual or a vocal form. The biggest proof of this are the famous cave paintings left, where our prehistoric ancestors used to draw their daily lives permanently in rocks around all over the world. And one of the most beautiful forms of expression is through art. Art is the highest expression of human feelings. But not all artists have their due recognition for exposing their art in large venues, museums, or theaters. I am Samar Bakri, and I welcome you to Mega Fact. And in our today's video, we've prepared for you a list with the most amazing street performers in the world. So, leave us already your mega like, join the channel, and activate the notifications bell. Let's start! The Genie of the Lamp. Launched in 1992 by Disney, the movie Aladdin was a success, both for the quality of the animation as for the characters. And among these, one mainly drew more attention than the others, and it was the charismatic genie. The success of the Genie of the Lamp was so great that always when we speak of the movie, he is the first to be remembered, and in the live action of 2019, a famous actor was chosen to give life to this magical character, and it was the charismatic Will Smith. The street artist Mauro Torri decided to take this legend from the stories and movies and bring it to life. The artist presents in the streets of Italy, and his characterization is impressive. Mauro seems to float while leaving his lamp. The artist returns the contribution of the pedestrian with some sweets in a way to simplify the compilation of the pedestrian's request. Mauro Torri is not the only street genie. In the city of Malaga, in Spain, this artist decided to adapt the classical genie of the Disney movies in an even more accurate version. He looks just like him, right? These artists remain levitating due to a structure of hidden metal in their costume. Even though it looks easy, don't be mistaken, because staying in that position for hours requires a lot of body endurance. So when you see a genie in the street, contribute. Iya Traore. Brazil is known worldwide as the country of football, but it is in the romantic Paris, capital of France, a street artist that has been drawing attention for his amazing and unique skills with the ball. Born in Guinea, Iya Traore began his career as a goalkeeper in his native country. In Europe, he came to play for big teams such as Paris Saint-Germain. Iya has an amazing control on the ball as if it was glued to his body. Iya keeps the ball turning on a rod that he keeps it held with his mouth. And as if it wasn't already pretty amazing, he does climb as well a pole without dropping the ball. Iya's skills have been recognized worldwide. He has been recognized as well by the Guinness Book. He is a holder of 2 world records for having the biggest number of steps of going up the stairs backwards, controlling a ball at the bottom of his feet, and the number of wider range of motion control movements of a ball, in a minute with an impressive 63 moves. Who wouldn't want to have him in his neighborhood? Peter Spatina. The sentence, "without music, life would be a mistake," is attributed to German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, and I couldn't agree more. Whether you're a professional musician or an amateur, the pleasure of playing an instrument is something that every human being should experience at least once in their life. However, many people cannot afford an instrument, and some resolve it fairly in a creative and unexpected way. The Czech artist Peter Spatina used his creativity to create music on another level. Using a series of glasses full with water and with different sizes and volumes each, Peter created a tool called the harp glasses. And he is able to play the most beautiful songs just rubbing his wet fingers on the rim of each glass. When you decide to venture in music but do not have money for an instrument, just remember Peter and let your creativity flow. Isaac Who. The hula hoop is a classic children's toy. Many have already tried to keep balanced a plastic hula hoop at the waist, right? A Taiwanese street artist named Isaac Who decided to take the game with the hula hoops to another level. Using a device called a sire wheel, Isaac Who delights pedestrians in the city of Taipei in Taiwan. Isaac is a true master of this craft, and in the past, he used to practice several other forms of art that helped him in his today's skills and performance, such as ballet, tango, jazz, and others. The effect that Isaac has on people is hypnotizing. His balance is the fundamental key of mastering this art, and his skill with the sire wheel is so huge that it earned him even a nickname that is the true Lord of the Rings. Living statues. Performances where street artists disguise themselves as living statues are not uncommon, but some take this art to a completely different level. And here we show some examples of these geniuses of standing art. Everyone loves to see fountains with water, and some of them even perform us a small water show. But what do you think about a living fountain? This artist is a showwoman in the famous SeaWorld Park in Orlando, and her performance has an objective to keep everyone astonished. In addition to the costume and makeup as a marble statue, she added one more effect. Water comes out of her fingers, giving the impression that it is a living fountain. The artist also makes performances in the streets, and it is impossible to pass through it and not stopping to admire her. Bronze Cowboy. The Old West was a period of the US history that lasted about 30 years. However, the imaginary world created by the adventures of cowboys in hostile lands inspired and still inspire many films and presentations. Some street artists take advantage of these stories to create characters that refer to this time as striking to American history. Ross Maxwell is one of those artists. Known as the Bronze Cowboy, he seems like he came straight from the screens of a film about cowboys to the real world. The artist paints his skin the same color as the clothes, and the result is a perfect statue. In addition, Ross Maxwell worked for years as a stuntman and supporting actor in Hollywood, which certainly helped him a lot to become an even more convincing statue. The Bronze Cowboy's performance is so convincing that it's almost imperceptible. Look at this woman's reaction finding that in fact he's not a statue. It is impossible not to be shocked, right? Stopped in time. While most performances that simulate statues aim to demonstrate all their ability to become a real standstill statue, an artist decided to go to the other way. This artist can be seen in the streets of London, and his idea is genius. As nowadays everyone is late for everything, why not perform a statue that symbolizes the rush of the modern world? And thus was born the late man. Generally, looking at his watch, as if he is just worried about the time, the artist was minutious with every detail. The jacket, his tie, and his hair in the wind give the idea as if he is in a hurry. In addition, the artist also makes facial expressions that give even more realism to the scene. As for these two people, they use the same technique of the late man, but in this case, both of them are late. These men only leave their position when they receive a reward from the tourists. Let's be honest, it mustn't be comfortable at all to sit still for hours in the same position, right? Li Wei-yang. Jugglers always impress us with their ability to balance and how they are able to keep objects in the air with their bare hands, and those who do so with their feet. This ability is called antipodism, And a good example is the Taiwanese Li Wei-yang. This artist is an antipodism practitioner. And as it wasn't enough to juggle with her feet, she does it with a table. That's right, a normal table, those you have at home. In addition to the table, Li Wei-yang still makes the joy of children to conduct her own carousel version with her feet. It sounds crazy, but kids love this part of the presentation, and parents, as always, get a little afraid. But in the end, everything works out well, since Li Wei makes this performance for years. There is strength and dexterity, right? Glass ball. Continuing with the juggling, we come to the performance called glass ball. It's not uncommon to find it on YouTube with several videos of these artists who manipulate this artifact with such lightness and dexterity, and the ball seems to float in their hands. The trick here is about the material that the ball is made of. The ball is made of acrylic and contains a set of weights that balances in an unevenly distributed way, allowing the artist to create the illusion that it has its own movement. But do not get mistaken, manipulating the glass ball masterfully takes practices and a lot of patience. A one-person band. And finally, my favorite street shows, the famous bands of one person. Unlike Peter Spatina, who turned the glasses into musical instrument, these artists stand out for the excess of instruments. With structures that combine string instruments, percussion, and wind, linked in a way that they can master two or more at the same time, watching one of those artists is a guaranteed fun. Who needs a band when you can put all the tools in the back and play almost all at the same time? Fantastic, isn't it? So, this is it for today, everyone. Which artist most caught your attention? Leave us your comments and see you soon.